triple divorce. I'm going to have to start this video with that term. Get yourself a beverage. I have a coffee here. And let's get into it. So I'm not going to, with my reviews of Sister Wives, talk scene for scene, because I feel like so many reaction channels do that and they tell you everything that's been said and everything in it. Let's just cut to the meat of it, because so much of Sister Wives is filler. So let's get straight to the point. I loved last episode. We got sister witches. That's what Cody referred to his ex-wives, the sister wives. This episode, he just, as if it was so normal, used the term, I've just had a triple divorce. I don't know why I found that so funny. I was howling. I was like, triple divorce. And he's really had a triple divorce in 2 years, because obviously he started the show with 4 wives and now he's only got 1. So he has technically been through a triple divorce. I just have never heard that term in my whole entire life. So getting into everyone's storylines, I don't feel like we saw that much from Janelle. Obviously they're all arguing over the land and who's going to get Coyote Pass and splitting the land, selling the land, all of that. So she was really focused on that with Mary. She's having a spiritual divorce from Cody and she just wants the money out of the land. She had a great term though, where she said to Mary, they were on a video call and they were talking about the land, talking about Cody, and Cody didn't want to talk to her. He said, I don't like you. And she said, well, I don't like you much either. And she was telling Mary this information. And then she said, you know, because I have a shy, pretty wife. And she said that is what Cody said to her once about Robin, that his wife Robin is shy and pretty, almost to put down Janelle, to say like, you're loud and you're unattractive, so why would I spend time with you when I have this perfect wife at home? And then I loved how Janelle was like, sorry, because Mary, what you see, was like a bit tense with the situation. She doesn't like to kind of mouth Cody that much. We haven't really seen in the other series. And so she was a bit uncomfortable with it. And then Janelle was like, sorry, I just had to have that little ex-wives club bit there. And I loved that whole bit there that she was talking about it. And he does really say that. Like, he did say it in the episode to camera. So it's not something that's completely out of the realm of that he would say, because he said he basically has this perfect wife, Robin, and the others didn't live up to that standard. And that's why he is still with Robin, and their marriage has worked out. Why would he bother spending time with the other wives where they nag and get on his case when he has this perfect wife, Robin? And now they're living that monogamy, so they should be happy in it, but they're still not happy, Cody and Robin, and I can't quite work out what that is about. They live in a beautiful house in the forest. I can understand he's had a lot of bad memories in that house. He's had the triple divorce, he's had a passing of a son, and so he wants to move. So they're going to move somewhere else, and he's saying, okay, I will sell Coyote Pass, but we don't know how quick that sale is going to take place, because it seems when you see the trailer that they're all 3 standing on Coyote Pass for a showdown, and it obviously still hasn't been sold and they still own it. I think Robin's house is very beautiful. It's my dream home. It is in a forest. The trees all around are stunning, although if one of those trees fell on your house, it's going to do like quite a lot of damage to the roof. But it's all wood paneling, and then it has what they call a deck. We in England would call it a balcony. And it just looks out and it's so beautiful, this big wooden deck outside. Oh my God, gorgeous. Couldn't have it in England because it rains too much. Right now, it is torrential rain. We have Storm Benjamin in England. So it's just wind, rain, unpleasant weather. So we couldn't have, and in America, when you have those porches and you're sitting on a swing, having your morning coffee on the porch, we do not have the weather for it. There'd be rain everywhere. We'd be soaking wet. Anyway, so Robin and Cody, they were talking. I felt like it's all kind of teasing to another sister wife, but I don't think it's going to get another sister wife. I think it's just teasing for a storyline in the show. Mary's speed dating, so that I wasn't that interested in, to be perfectly honest, but she's off speed dating. And then Christine, there's a stray dog in the area. Did anyone else find that so weird? That Christine and her husband were moving Christine's daughter, Mykelti, across the country because she's moving away. She's moving somewhere else with her husband and children to be closer to her cousins, which kind of seemed unfair because Christine moved to where Mykelti was to be close to her grandchildren, and then Mykelti's now moving her children, the grandchildren, away across country somewhere else. So is Christine now going to have to like maybe move again? I don't know. But when they came out, they were getting stuff ready to pull this big trailer to take it across country for the move. And there was just this tiny, gorgeous Yorkshire Terrier dog on their doorstep. And then he's like, we could have the dog. Like, her new husband, David, he's like, we could just take this dog with us. Like, no one's out looking for it. We could just take the dog. And she's like, I don't want a dog. No, put the dog back. And it was just roaming the streets. I don't know if they live in maybe a very safe, beautiful cul-de-sac is what it looked like, kind of very rural. And so that's why the dog was just roaming and no one was looking for it. But around here, it would get stolen. If I went and there was like a Yorkshire Terrier on my doorstep, someone would pinch it. Like, someone would take it into their home and that would be it. You'd never see it again. There'd be missing posters up in the area for weeks. So I don't know, it kind of seemed idyllic where they lived, that this dog could just roam about. It's obviously one of their neighbours and it's just got out. If I could have a dog, I would have a Yorkshire Terrier. They're just so gorgeous. They're just so cute and gorgeous. Anyway, so she was talking about her heartbreak of her daughter moving away from her and, taking obviously the grandkids away and them going off. And I thought that was really sad. Also, I don't think we've seen Trilly or Savannah at all. And I feel in the last 2 seasons, they were quite heavily in the seasons because Trilly still lives at home with Christine and Savannah still lives at home with Janelle. And they're the only kids who still live at home with their mums, apart from obviously Robin's children who are much younger. But the last seasons, we really did see a lot of them, even though they didn't do any talk to camera and give their insight. They were kind of like brought along for the breakdown of the marriage and having to move across state. And, Janelle's daughter lived in a house and they ended up living in a camper van and all this different stuff, whereas we haven't seen them at all. So I don't know if maybe they've decided we're just not going to have the kids in as much now. We can have the older kids because they're adults and they've got kids of their own and they can give their opinion on things, but we're not going to have like the littler kids in it. They also kind of talked about, because none of the kids have lived polygamy, they're all in monogamy. So even though they grew up in a household where their dad had 4 wives, none of them have gone on to live it themselves. And they did talk a bit about that. So Mykelti kind of joked that her husband Tony wouldn't let her live polygamy, so we got to move across country so that I can be near my cousins and be more of the rest of the family because they can help us out maybe with the kids. And if I had another wife, like, she was just trying to joke him. And then they said to Cody, why haven't any of your children lived that way, and do you think they want to live polygamy? And he basically said, no, I don't think we gave a very good advert for it. Although he said we made it look perfect, and then he kind of says we didn't. So I think he's saying that they saw the reality of it. On the outside, it looked great. It looked the perfect solution. All the women had their individual homes. They had their own independence. They made their own money. And then he would just go home from home. So they would have like these independent lives with their children. But the reality of that was jealousy, was them wanting to obviously spend more time with him, and then him gradually spending all his time with just one wife. One thing that I just find so filler in all these things, last episode, the production had obviously rented out a restaurant which was empty. And then at the beginning of Mary's speed dating, it's literally her and one other woman. And then when the speed dating happened, all of a sudden there's loads of people in the room. So I'm guessing they must say, like, do you want to be filmed or not? The people at the speed just hire extras, surely. Hire some extras, because it's just a filler situation that none of us are that interested in, to be honest. And Mary also spoke about her obviously being the first wife and now not being with him anymore. How she was married to him for 33 years. That's my age. I'm 33. So such a long time with him. Although she did say the last 10 years, he just wasn't coming by her house anymore. He wasn't really that interested in her at all. They had no physical relationship. But there's such a long time to spend with someone, and then them to just be off now with a much younger woman living a completely separate life than what you two had together. Triple divorce. I mean, that's really what I took away from this episode. How funny the term triple divorce was. I loved that. I'm loving his like wordings for things that he must say in private, and then they just slip out. Obviously, if someone's filming you all day, I'm guessing you get more comfortable with it. Sister witches, we got last episode. We got triple divorce this time, which in the polygamy world, I'm guessing when your wives walk away, that's a normal term to use. But for the majority of us, it's like a mental term that I have never heard before. So him and Robin, he's agreed to sell Coyote Pass, but we've been teased already that in the season that's going quite slowly. And then him and Robin are selling up Robin's beautiful home because he's had a lot of sadness there and he wants to move somewhere else, which I think is understandable. It is a beautiful home. One thing I would say, we never find out anything that he does for a living, and I'd be really interested in that. I know people have kind of like dug up things and different Facebook posts and say, oh, I think he does this, but the show never addresses what he does for a living, so it would just be interesting what he does. If this is a reality TV show following their day-to-day lives, then that would be an interesting element within it. I didn't love this episode too much. We are teased with a tornado though, and in England we don't have tornadoes, so I'm interested for that episode. The next episode, they're obviously still driving across country to take McKelty to her new home, her and her husband and the grandchildren. And so McKelty's in one car, and then they've got a trailer with all their things, and then Christine and her husband David are in a separate car with a trailer of McKelty's things to move her across. Whereas in England you just hire out a massive van because it's not that big like a country, so you just hire a massive van, pay like how much it is for the van to go to your new address, and that's kind of it. Like I'd never have trailed stuff around like that, but then it's obviously a huge move, so they're doing it themselves, and then they manage to just drive into a tornado, and that is what is teased for the next episode, is them driving into a tornado, which I am interested in. That normally I would say, oh, that's filler, I'm not as interested, I want to get into the lives of everyone, but because we don't have tornadoes in England, I am actually interested in what do you actually do if you're driving through it. What do you do, and how long does it take for it to clear and everything like that? I am intrigued for that episode. So I'm going to end this video here. I feel like I've said everything I need to say. Triple divorce is just, it makes me cackle. It's just such a polygamy term, isn't it? It's such a bizarre thing, and they're just acting like it's such a normal thing to say, and that's it. Also, I don't know why Cody and Robin aren't happy, because all the other wives would say they were living monogamy, but he forgot he had 3 other wives, and that's why all the marriage is broken down, and other things like they weren't getting along with him as well. We can't all be put on Robin. And also I hate that whole like a woman has controlled him and now he's abandoned everyone else. He's a human being, he can think for himself, he's made decisions himself, which I'm sure the wives would say led into the divorces and everything. But she's still very unhappy about the sister wife thing breaking down. But you've got him, you're living monogamy, you're living in this gorgeous like house in the forest, like it looks wood panel like a cabin, but it's a mansion size to me as an English person, because in America you have much bigger homes. I don't see what the issue is with these other women have gone off to live their separate lives, but you have a lovely life. But I don't know if it's just editing makes them always seem like they're so unhappy, because there must be happy moments together, but maybe that is just not shown or just not filmed. Also, a lot of the time when it's Robin and Cody in the last seasons, we haven't been in Robin's home, so it's all been outside on the driveway in the snow, and very bizarre. And they're doing a fire pit on their driveway so that everyone can talk on the driveway, and we haven't been allowed into the home. And before you could say, well, maybe that was COVID, they didn't want to spread COVID, but now we're seeing a lot more of Robin and Cody inside the home, and I'm just finding that an interesting point as to maybe they didn't want the other sister wives in the home, or the other sister wives didn't want to go into the home, so every time they spoke it had to be outside on a drive because they didn't want to go into the house. And now obviously it's just Robin and Cody. We are seeing more of what their life is like day to day in the house. And the art, because he collects art, doesn't he? So we're seeing so many of these big like art pieces in the home. It feels a bit like old Sister Wives, when you used to be looking at all the houses and they'd have Christmas around someone's house in that way. But I feel everyone's kind of thriving. I don't know about Cody and Robin, what's going on with that, because they seem to be like troubled with the land and troubled with their house and still very angry about the other women leaving and not wanting to talk to them. But the other wives seem to be, you know, doing their own thing, like Mary dating again, starting a next chapter. Anyway, I could just ramble and babble on. Like I'm talking like I'm on FaceTime, like I do with all my videos, just rambling and babbling. I wish I had like, you could talk back to me so we could actually have a back and forth conversation. You could be like, oh, well, this is why I think this, or do you remember this from this episode? So let's have that in the comments if you want. And I'm going to end this video here. I'm doing a video every day in October. I've called it HANOWEEN, and I do book reviews, I do vlogs, I do crafts. Did anyone see my paper mache pumpkin? I actually filmed some of the tutorial a year ago, and then it's there. The star of the show, it's there. So if you want to make a paper mache pumpkin literally out of plastic bags and string, and then just paper mache it, I have the tutorial of how to like make the body of that, or you might think absolutely not, but I do have other videos on the channel that you can check out, discussion videos. So I'm going to end this Sister Wife review here. I'm excited for the next episode to see about the tornado and everything happening with that. So I'm going to end it here, and I will see you tomorrow, of course, for another Halloween video.